Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. This is Deb from Nite Radio. As you know, we have a special edition tonight with the wonderful Jimi Jamison. He is the lead singer of the band Survivor. But before Survivor, Jamison began his musical career with the nationally acclaimed band Target. He continued on his rise to stardom with the band Cobra. After Cobra, he joined Survivor, where the band has enjoyed success with 5 singles in the top 10, 4 gold, and double platinum albums, and multiple movie soundtracks. The movie soundtrack for Rocky, starring Sylvester Stallone, included the mega hit Eye of the Tiger, which still thrills concert audiences to the present. The Baywatch theme, I'm Always Here, was also co-written by Jamison as well as performed. Jamison has also released several solo albums, one of them being the album When Love Comes Down, which boasted the explosive single Rock Hard, demonstrating the power of Jamison's voice. Others to mention are Crossroads Moment and Extra Moment. In 2011, Jamison released an album with former Toto singer Bobby Kimball. Aside from being a lead vocalist, Jimi has also made 6 music videos and television appearances. He has served on the Grammy Awards Committee and is a member of AFTRA, SAG, and NARAS. Jamison has also performed backup vocals for recordings by ZZ Top, Crocus, Jeff Healey Band, and numerous other recording artists. Not to take his success for granted, Jamison has always given back through his charity work with such organizations as St. Jude Children's Hospital, Ronald McDonald House, Juvenile Diabetes, Make-A-Wish Foundation, the Special Olympics, etc., etc., etc. Jamison will be releasing a new album titled Never Too Late, due out on Tuesday, November 6th. Let's welcome to the airwaves, Jimi Jamison. Hi, Jimi.
Hey, Deb. Do you have the marching band to bring me on? I almost fell asleep during that intro.
Well, it's difficult, Jimi, when you're so accomplished. You know, you can't leave anything out, you know, because then people are like, well, why didn't she mention this? So I had to cover it.
I got you. Okay.
How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm good. Okay, so you were raised in Mississippi.
Actually, I was born in Mississippi, but I actually grew up in Memphis.
Memphis. Okay, so you're technically from Memphis then, because you were raised there.
Yeah, right.
I got it. So what was it like for you growing up there in Memphis?
Well, it was helped musically. It was great because, you know, rock and roll kind of started here, you know, with well, in the sense of the word that most of the public thinks that was through Elvis Presley, you know. And so I grew up listening to him as far as I can remember. When I was like 6 years old, hearing him singing, you know, and hearing the Stax records and the R&B and the soul music, all, you know, everything. The 2 big soul record labels in the country were in Detroit and in Memphis, you know, and they were always battling each other to try to outdo each other. And so I was lucky to be in one of those towns, you know, growing up.
Oh, awesome! Was it different? Say, growing up in like the heart of, you know, music as opposed to like growing up in Los Angeles?
Well, it was harder growing up here because there was no music business in Memphis, really. You know, the only music business was not the kind of music business that I was in. You know, it's a different style of music. So Los Angeles would have probably been, well, I say easier, quicker, maybe. But you know, you never know. You can be successful in the business quicker in Los Angeles, and you can also be out of the business quicker.
Right, that is true. I think that's true for most things in Los Angeles.
Yeah, but I love Los Angeles, and as a matter of fact, that's where we did all when I first got my first record deal. That's where we did all our business. It was in L.A. with A&M Records.
Oh, A&M.
Yeah.
Did you say A&M? Oh wow,
yeah.
That's an oldie but a goodie.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay, as a young boy, I understand you met Elvis Presley on one of his famous shopping sprees.
Yeah.
Can you describe what it is like to meet the king of rock and roll at that age?
Well, I was about 10 years old or something like that, and it was amazing, It was Elvis Presley. He was the man, and we were at this little shopping. It's a funny story how I met him. We were at this little believe it or not, it was a drugstore.
Oh.
That was in a drugstore, but they sold a bunch of. They call it Cat's Drugstore, but they sold all kind of stuff like Walmart, and they even had exotic animals in the basement. And so my mom, my cousin, and my stepfather were there with me, and we were staying on this aisle. My cousin walked around and looked down the aisle and came back and told my mother, Dorothy, there's a guy in the next aisle who looks just like Elvis. So my mother walks around the aisle, and naturally she'd like, "It is Elvis," echoing in the store, So everybody knew he was there then, and so everybody was following him around, and he went downstairs and in the basement to look at the exotic animals. So the whole store followed him down in the basement, me too, and I was right behind him, and so he was trying to get he had his girl with him. He was on his motorcycle, and he had his little motorcycle hat on, and he had some girl was with him, but I didn't pay any attention. It could have been Natalie Wood for all I know. I didn't even look at the girl because I was fixed on Elvis, and he was trying to get a lion cub out of the cage. Trying to get one of the people that worked there was trying to get a lion cub out of the cage for him, for the girl, and they couldn't get out, and Elvis kind of leaned over to me and said, "You think I ought to buy that?" I said, "Yeah." So he was put his arm on my shoulder and was like leaning on my shoulder. Man, I didn't want to move because I didn't want Elvis to fall over, And so that's how I met Elvis. It was amazing. It was a great thing. And later on in life, I was playing this club in Memphis, and one of his friends came in and said, "Jamison, you got to come with me right now." I said, "Why?" She said, "Elvis wants to meet you." And I said, "What does he want to meet me for?" I was like, I guess 19 or 20 at this time. I said, "What does he want to meet me for?" And she said, "Because I told him you were a better singer than he is." And I said, "No way I'm going to go there now. Jesus Christ." But, he was such a jokester. I should have gone over there. I didn't go, but I should have gone because we'd have probably become really good friends then.
Oh, my God. Well,
yeah.
Did meeting Elvis, inspire you towards music?
No, not at all. Not in the least. That's not what inspired me toward music. Listening to just loving his music and everybody else's music too. The Beatles,
right.
All these groups. Mainly the Beatles inspired me to do it. But I didn't really, I didn't really put a band together. I was in the a cappella choir at school, and these guys that I played football with had a band, and they heard me sing, and they came up to me and said, "You want to be in a band?" And I said, "Sure." So that's how it started, But as far as inspiration, all the bands inspired me as far as my vocals and what kind of music I do and the kind of music I played back then. So that's when they asked me to be in a band, that pretty much solidified the fact that I'll never be the president of a corporation, back then anyway. But meeting Elvis really didn't have anything to do with me being in music. Meeting him was a great thing, and I wouldn't take anything for it. But just all music and inspired me.
That's interesting. Okay, with Survivor on tour, doing a lot of dates and playing a lot of casinos right now, what do you do to stay grounded?
I gamble a lot. you're in a casino. What are you going to do, you know? And you run out of money, you're pretty much grounded, right? So, I know. I play golf. I come home. You know, I do the shows. You know, we don't stay out on tour like we used to. We used to stay out for months and months and months, and it's hard to stay grounded then. But when everybody's like treating you like a king or something, and you come home and you got to cut the grass and stuff, normal stuff like that,
right.
which I enjoy doing actually, And so nowadays we never stay gone that long anymore, whereas it would be any problem. We play on the weekends and we come home, and it's business as usual, normal, just normal stuff.
Okay. Well, I just wondered if there was like some sort of, kind of ritual that you do when you're out on tour that keeps you kind of level and, because there's all that.
Yeah.
There's all of that in.
Yeah, I don't have any kind of ritual. Yeah, I don't meditate or anything like that. I think people are. All these singers years ago, we didn't know each other. When it was our peers, and we were all kind of in competition. Now they're all my friends. So it's really funny how things come full circle like that, and you find out how people really are, and instead of how you thought they were and everything. So everybody's really normal. Everybody in the music business that I've met, except for a couple of guys, were just normal people.
Okay. Well, that's something different because you don't generally hear that.
Yep. I hope not, because I'm lying my ass off. No, I'm kidding. I'm telling the truth.
I'm lying. Can you hear? You can't see me. I'm lying.
No, it's true. It is true.
Okay, so the show Baywatch was such a huge success on television all over the world. The theme song titled I'm Always Here, which you co-wrote as well as performed, what inspired you to write this song?
Well, that was the second song that I wrote. I wrote one song called Everyday Hero and submitted it, and they wanted me to try something else and try and come out to L.A. and write with a friend of mine, Corey Lirius, who was the keyboard player for Pablo Cruz. And so I went over to Corey's house, and Corey had this track that he was working on, and so he made me a copy of it, and I took it back to the hotel, and I wrote the lyrics that night, as a matter of fact. And to be honest with you, it's a Christian song that I wrote, and they thought I was writing about lifeguards. I'm Always Here is not talking about a lifeguard being there, if you know what I mean. And the only person that got it, the only person that figured that out, was a writer for Playboy magazine. And they took the song, and I heard the producer tell me, he said, "Can you believe this? Read this." And it said, Baywatch song lyrics are without a doubt Christian lyrics. And he's the only person that got it. The only person, the producer, that everybody didn't even know it, because they called me up and said, "Can you believe this guy thinks that?" I said, "No, I can't believe it. Keep sending those checks." So that's basically what it's all about. If you read those lyrics, you'll see what I mean.
Oh, that's really interesting, because actually I was going to ask you what the network was drawn to make the decision to have that as the theme song.
I don't know. I think that it's a good song. I think we just got lucky.
Just got lucky. Okay.
Yeah, got lucky, yeah. That has a lot to do with it, in the right place at the right time and knowing the right people. That has a lot to do with it.
Now, because of Baywatch's success, were you also, approached to do other theme songs?
As a matter of fact, yes. I did it. I've done other things for smaller shows, and for one of the very small ones, I did a thing for Johnny Bravo. Johnny Bravo is a Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
But I loved it. They called me up, and I said, "Yes, I'll do it. I don't care if I get paid or not. I love that cartoon. I just loved it. It was great because the guy talked like Elvis,
Yeah.
And it was funny. And so other people have contacted me about stuff like that, and I also just to sing, songs in movies also. So I've been pretty lucky when it comes to that. As a matter of fact, I'm working on a new movie right now with Pat Horgan called Trouble in Paradise, which is a Cuban mafia movie.
Oh.
And, he and I have written a song for it, and they want me to sing the main theme song for it, and they want me to play a part in it with Christian Slater, who's the main actor in the movie. But I'll probably get killed like the first couple of minutes of the movie, so don't worry. You'll have to see bad acting, but only a couple of minutes.
Well,
I'm a mafia guy, bad guy in the movies.
Oh, I love it. Oh, well, that's a departure for you. Was that different for you playing it?
I love it. Yeah, I want to be the bad guy. You know why? Because the bad guy, the people hate him, and they get so much publicity because people hate him. But when they turn good, the people love them that much more. It's like wrestling. It's just like wrestling, the wrestling business. They do. That's what they do.
Right. All right. So since you've performed so many number one hits, as well as co-written some as well, is there one in particular that holds a special memory for you more than the others?
As far as songs?
Yeah.
It would have to be the Baywatch song, because I got a lot of mileage out of that song, and I met a lot of people, including Pam Anderson. And yeah. So it would have to be that one. I was like Borat, when I met Pam. You'll be my wife. I'm just taking it for granted that you saw that movie, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Of course.
I had a song in the movie, and it was one of the deleted scenes that they took out. And if you get on YouTube and search for Borat deleted scenes, my vocals in it, and I can see why they took it out, because what he was doing wasn't, he'd taken it a little bit too far.
Yeah, he is a little bit outlandish.
Yeah, I love it though.
Yeah, he's different. He's someone that you have to acquire a taste for sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so here's a quandary for you, I think. In 2011, you released an album with former Toto singer Bobby Kimball. How did you decide which name would go first on the album?
He's older than me, so I let him go first. True. That's what I told him. I said, Bobby, you're a lot older than me, so go ahead, Mr. Kimball, so go ahead and put your name first.
And that's all it took, huh? That was it. There was no egos involved.
It didn't. None whatsoever. Now, as far as recording the song or anything, Bobby and I have been friends for 20 years. We laugh at egos. So that's pretty much that was. I know in his back of his mind he wanted his name to be first anyway. So I said, just put your name first. But,
okay.
But don't tell him I said that in case he may be listening. Bobby, if you're listening, I was just kidding. Because he lives in L.A.
Okay. Well, he'll come and look you up.
Oh, I'm going to call him up and tell him to check it out.
Yes,
if it's going to be online somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it'll be up as soon as the show's over.
Great.
Okay, so I understand now. This is switching a little bit, but I understand that you've recorded some country music and are a fan of the genre. Did you start your love of country music when you were raised in Memphis, or was it another reason that came up because you loved it?
No, it's I've always been around it because my parents listened to it, and I would go down to Mississippi during the summer and stay for a while with all my cousins and my aunts and uncles and stuff down there, and they always had the radio on, and Hank Williams was playing on the radio back then. I don't know if it was just his records or if he was still alive or what, but he was a great. I came to realize at first I didn't like it, but I came to realize that he was really a brilliant songwriter. I mean, just totally way beyond his time, and so I knew about Hank Williams, and I knew what a great songwriter he was when I was a kid, but I didn't really start getting into country music until so actually right before I got in Survivor, and back in the late 70s.
Oh wow, that's that it's interesting because you wouldn't think that somebody in rock and roll like you've been would be also in country, but at the same time, it's all tied together, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, Garth Brooks was a rocker, before he was ever country.
Oh,
and it's the same thing except in reverse for him. And a lot there's so many people like that. Janie Fricke, she was a country music female vocalist of the year, and she was a good friend of mine. We sang jingles together, and she was anything but country, at that time. And she had a brilliant country career, and won the awards and everything. So.
Oh wow!
So you would be totally shocked that Travis Tritt, rock and roller, turned country. I mean, hundreds of people. More people were rock and rollers turned country than country turned rock and rollers. So.
Oh wow! See, I never would have guessed that, but I am finding that most things, like because of Carrie Underwood, because of Taylor Swift, because of Garth Brooks, because of there's so many to name. We are going into they cross over all the time and back and forth.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Now, speaking of your first band, Target, is there any plans to reunite the band? Because I understand there's always requests for you guys to do some more shows. Yeah, it's like I just got a big cult following or something now. I was in Los Angeles one day, and before Tower Records was gone, I went and walked into Tower Records, and I walked out, and I was walking in Tower Records, and this guy was walking out, and he had a Target album, and he said, "Wow, dude, can you sign this?" I said, "Geez, I didn't know Tower Records had Target Records out here." And this was way after it was released, way after the band. And that's when I was in Survivor, actually. And so there's talk of, around the country of the band, because we played so much. I guess one tour would end and we'd go directly to another tour. We did Journey's first tour with them. We did Boston's first tour with them. Robin Trower, Bob Seger, Styx's first headline tour. We did so many bands' first headline tours with them, opening up for them. I guess we were the world's most famous opening act. So we get a lot of requests from people, to do something with Target, play live or do another record or something, And so we haven't really got any plans to do any of it right now. Although we did play a couple of weeks ago for a friend of mine's, a benefit for a friend of mine, and raised like $30,000 for him because he has cancer and he's not going to be able to work for a long time. I was really happy that we were able to do that. Yeah, that's very sweet. And speaking of your charity work, I mean, I obviously you're very passionate about your charity work, and you work with such organizations as St. Jude Children's Hospital, Ronald McDonald House, Juvenile Diabetes, Make-A-Wish, Special Olympics, etc. How do you fit that in with your busy schedule?
I don't know. It just it works its own stuff out. It's weird because I haven't had anything interfere with any shows that I had outside of the charity thing. To my knowledge, well, maybe a couple of them that I couldn't do because I had contracts to do other things, but most of the time it works itself out. It's they try to have the charity events on days where the artist would most likely not be working. Like I play with a lot of different artists. Some of these charity events, Mike Reno from Loverboy does it with me, and John Cafferty, and the guys from Blue Oyster Cult, and just a lot of guys. We all get together and we do these charity events together sometimes, and so they pretty much try to schedule them in between our stuff most of the time.
Oh, that's Well, it's so commendable, this charity work. Are you guys going to do something for Hurricane Sandy relief?
I haven't heard it. Nothing's come up yet. No one's called me or gotten in touch with me yet, but, I wouldn't mind doing it all. It's really hard for me to say no to people in need like that. It's really right. not trying to blow my horn here or anything, but, hey, we got to help each other out because, that's what we should do.
Now, I'm curious to see, where did that motto for you come from? Where did you start understanding that, or where does that come from for you? Why is that so important to you?
I think from my mom, because she was a very giving person, and I think it started there. And I was pretty much, I grew up alone with no brothers or sisters, and I would see all these on TV. I'd watch TV and I'd see all this stuff going on, and people starving to death in your own hometowns that, and everybody, if there's so much here to be had. The first time somebody asked me to do a charity event, I said, yeah, when do you want me to be there, And so it's just something that came from my family, I think, because they were very generous people. And they weren't rich or anything like that, but they were very generous with their time, and with whatever they had, they always shared it.
Wow. Well, that's a wonderful motto, and I know there's a lot of them in the music industry that are like that, but there are just as many that don't have that type of mentality as well. So you are to be commended for what you do.
Thank you, but I'm just doing my part, and it's just one little part. So I'm happy to do it.
It's wonderful. Okay, so since you're a big Elvis fan, have you seen the Elvis slot machines and their cool, huge, big door-sized Elvis picks that is made of plexiglass?
I've seen the displays for them. I don't know if I've seen the actual slot machine or not, but boy, I'd like to have one of those. I've seen. I saw some. Oh yeah, wait a minute, I have. Yeah, and they're killer. I want one bad. I got to talk to Monica. How can I get one of those slot machines?
Well, have you ever met Joe Strummer?
Joe's drummer?
Mm-hmm.
I cannot believe it. That is one of the funniest stories, and it's totally true, and it's hard to believe, actually. I guess I'm going to have to tell it now, right?
Yes.
Oh,
please.
Okay. Joe Walsh moved to Memphis for a while. We were going to write some. We were going to put a band together before the Eagles got back together, and so I was at his house one night. We were writing, and he said, "Let's go down to Bill Street and sit in with." So we had some friends playing on Bill Street at this club called Alfred's, and so I said, "Let's go down and sit in with them." So we went down there and walked in the door, and Joe immediately gets up on the stage and starts playing. They're playing really loud. You can, it's hard to hear what's going on in the crowd. You can't hear you're trying to talk to someone. And so I went back, got a drink, and I was standing about midway back from in the building, and this guy walks up to me with this long coat and kind of a British-looking hat with an English accent. He said, "Jimmy, hi, I'm Joe's drummer. I'm a big fan of yours." I said, "Bullshit. You're not Joe's drummer." And he said, "No, seriously, I am." And he kept saying it. And I said, "Listen." I finally said, "Look, you're not Joe's drummer. I came here with Joe. I know Joe. I know Joe's drummer, okay?" And he finally just gave up and shook his head and walked off. A few minutes later, and they were playing really, I couldn't hear what the guy was saying hardly.
Right.
Except I knew he was saying it was Joe's drummer. And so the band stopped playing, and the bass player for the band, after a few minutes, came over to me and said, "Jimmy, what did you say to that guy?" And I said, "He told me he was Joe's drummer," and I told him he was full of crap. He said, "No," he said he was Joe Strummer from the Clash. And oh my God, talk about embarrassment! I looked everywhere for him, and I couldn't find him, and he left. It freaked him out so bad. And now he died, and I can't even I'm trying to get in touch with this band because he probably wouldn't told his band, "Oh, Jamison's an asshole,"
Oh.
So I'm trying to get in touch with the band, and I don't know how to get in touch with the band to tell them the story. They'd probably die laughing if I told them.
They probably would. I'm sure they would. Oh, my goodness.
Joe Walsh didn't even believe me, and he was there. But I do have a witness.
I believe you. I believe you.
It's totally true. Hey, listen, I know Joe's drummer. You know, the guy standing in front of me thinks I'm saying I know Joe Strummer, you know. God.
That's funny. Okay, so let's talk about your newest album titled Never Too Late. It's due to be released on Tuesday, November 6th, this Tuesday. What can your fans expect from this album?
It's a little more rock, and it's what I really like. You know, it's melodic, but it's rock, still rock, and it's still got the great ballads on it too. So it's more of the direction I think. We always try to take Survivor, which we did on one record called Too Hot to Sleep, but we weren't able to capture it on any of the records. And I think I did it on this one. It's really a great record, and I'm really proud of it. And I usually don't say that. You know, I usually don't even listen to the record for at least a year after I record a record because I've heard it so much. But this one, I listen to all the time. So you know. So that says something for us. So I think I think it's a really good record, and they're going to enjoy it.
Can we listen to a little excerpt of it?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. Jimi Jamison, Never Too Late.
You got what it takes to make everything come true. The world isn't there for you. Just carry on. You get what you give. One day it will come back and fall into your lap. It's nothing new. It will be tough, but don't give up. Even if it's hurting, can't take you years, will cost you tears, but it's worth it in the end. Never too late to start. So just keep on dreaming. Never too late to start. Love will find its way. It will find you. So hold on to your faith. Never too late to start. Don't compromise.
Wow. That's amazing.
Pretty cool. I like it. It's got a great message. It's got a great message.
Wonderful. Wow. Okay. Well, that's what you fans have to.
Yeah, you should listen to the end of it backwards because the end of it really gets cool. No, it's really good. I'm proud of it.
You should. I mean, it's amazing. I love it. Okay, so fans, you just heard an excerpt from Jimmy's latest album, due out on Tuesday, November 6th. Make sure you pick up a copy. Where can they pick up a copy?
Online at NEH Records or Frontiers, Frontiers.it, or on iTunes, or just about anywhere online that sells records, Amazon.
Wonderful. Okay, well, thank you so much for taking this time with us, Jimmy. It was a pleasure having you on the air, and much success always. And make sure that you come back and see us again.
Will do. Okay, thanks, Deb.
Thank you very much.
All right,
have a good evening. Bye-bye. That'll conclude this. I'm going to take this show out with Jimi Jamison, Never Too Late. Have a good night and a good weekend.
You got what it takes to make everything come true. The world isn't there for you. Just carry on. You get what you give.